friends, it's Mia. Welcome back to the channel. Today what I have for you is we are pin trading all around the Skyliner Resorts, and I am going to be sharing 4 things I bet you didn't know about identifying a fake versus real pin. I am sure you haven't heard these 4 things before. I'm sure you heard some of them, but not this way. So let's head on over to our first destination. Remember, I said we're heading to 4 different resorts, and they are Art of Animation, Pop Century, Caribbean Beach, and Riviera Resort. Let's get going because I have a lot to share. Before we get started, I want to show you the pins I have with me today. My pins are all real, and what I'm going to do today is try to stick to the boards only and see what real pins we can find on those boards. And here we go, off to pin trading land. We have arrived at Art of Animation. So I am going to go over number 1. Number 1, you know how the Mickeys on the newer pins, a lot of people have said, well, the Mickeys have to go all the way around with no little edge, and that'll let you know if it's a real or a fake pin. Well, not all real, authentic Disney pins fit into that category. And I'll show you right here what I mean. So you can see that the hidden Mickeys are not going all the way to the end, and that is a real pin. So when you're looking for a real pin, yes, look for the hidden Mickeys that go all the way across with no little edge on them, but also make sure you're going by date of what you're looking for. So that's one thing. Here's another example of a limited edition pin. And there was a series of 4 of these, and all of these do not go to the end as well. So, check it out. You pin traders that have been pin trading for a while may have encountered pins like these, but you know that they are real, so no problem there. But there are those that do not know and may not pick up these pins thinking, well, they're not real. They said the Mickeys have to go all the way across. It's true, but there are always exceptions to the rule. We're at the Ink and Paint shop. This is our first stop. Let's go check out the pin boards. I am helping you guys because the majority of pins on the board, it could be 90% or more, are fake. So if you want real authentic pins, then you got to know these things. If you don't care and you're just doing it for fun, then it won't matter. But for you guys that want to become serious pin traders, you may want to know this. And even if you're a serious pin trader, you may not have known this. Here's the cutest Art of Animation aerial pin. Look at how cute the resort pin is. Here's the pin board in Art of Animation in the Ink and Paint shop. And I see a few good real pins. I think we're going to do a trade right now. I'm going to be picking up this Sully popsicle pin and leaving the Aurora candle behind. This is the rabbit pin I was showing you. This one here goes to the edge a little bit better than the one I was showing you, but it still doesn't go all the way to the end. Here's the cast members pin pad, but nothing on this pin pad is real. Nothing, not one. Cute pins, just not real. So we're checking out the cast members pin pad, and none of these pins are real either. So, like I said, this is 100% fake. Here's a pin board at Disney Vacation Club, and all the pins on this board are fake. There are glossy ones, matte ones, and none of them are real. We're at Guest Relations. That's our next stop. So when I say that 90% of the pin boards here at Disney, in Walt Disney World and Disneyland are fake or imposters. They are. Once in a while you do catch a real pin, there goes a rabbit, but the rest of the pins, well, they're all imposters. We're walking to Pop Century, and on our walk to Pop Century, I'm going to discuss soft enamel pins versus the harder enamel pins. Can Disney pins sometime appear like a soft enamel pin? And the answer is, check this out. Yes. Are most of them like this? No. So there's an exception to every pin. But what you want to look for mostly is no dips and valleys in the pin. Now, quality control is not always on a pin collector's side, because I've seen pins that peel, that have been peeled, and they're a real Disney pin. They just peel, the enamel peels. And also, I've seen little dips in real pins as well. Not too often, but I have. Okay, now we're going to head into Pop Century. Let's go see how many real pins are on the boards here today. Let's head into Everything Pop. Here's the cast members' pin pad, and these pins are also imposters. Here's the pin board right outside Everything Pop, and all the pins on the board are fake, so they're 100% faux. And here's the next pin board right next to it. This one here has mostly all fake pins except for the Scrooge McDuck pin. Here's the pin board at Guest Relations, and let's see. Nope, 100% faux Disney pins. So here's the pins on the custodian, and here's a real pin, but the rest, not so much. But anyway, thank you very much. Okay, my friends, we're going to head to our third resort. As you can see, we haven't found much on the boards because the majority of the pins are fake. And the real pins that were on the board, one or two here and there, scattered here and there, I already have, and I really don't need them, so I'm not going to pick them up for the sake of just picking up a real pin. Okay, well now, let's head to Caribbean Beach and see what we can find on their board.
Welcome aboard the Disney Skyliner at Disney's Pop Century Resort and Disney's Art of Animation Resort. We are on our way to Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort.
Now that we've arrived at the Caribbean Beach, we are on fake versus real, something you might have not known. Number 3. So, the pin, the thinness of it and the light weight of the pin, is that really a factor? Yes. But can some much older Disney pins be lightweight and very thin? Well, check this out. I would say the answer is yes. So the pin that I showed you is over 20 years old, and I actually traded for that pin. It has these little scratches on it. It's very thin, but I traded for that pin, and I'm keeping it, and it is a real Disney pin. So if you're looking for older pins to collect, just keep in mind they can be thinner and lighter in weight. At the Caribbean Beach Resort, we have this pin board here, and they have some really good pins on this board. Let's see what we're willing to trade for. Here's another pin board behind the register, And all those pins are 100% fake. Here's the cast members pin pad at the Caribbean Beach store, and all these pins here are fake. They are not authentic Disney pins. So we're gonna pass. Thank you. Here's another pin board at the food court. There's a lot of people online, so I'm not even gonna tell them to pull this pin board for me because I see already there's nothing on the pin board that I would like to add to my collection. Actually, there's nothing real on this pin board. There were 2 more cast members that were doing trivia. I didn't show that because they asked that I didn't film or record because there are a lot of people around. So I didn't. But what they had was nothing for us, but they were real pins. So they had 2 cast members doing that. And so I did 2 trivias. Nothing too complicated. But no, the cast members are now telling us not to share what the trivia answers are with guests. We are walking to Riviera Resort from the Caribbean Beach because it's a hop, step, and a jump. It's actually closer than walking back to the Skyliner, which is in the opposite direction, and getting on the Skyliner and going to the Riviera Resort. So let's see what the Riviera Resort has for us this early evening. So this is number 4. Some of the guests were asking me, well, if the prongs are pointy like a cone, but they're very short, isn't that still cone shape? And it's a real pin? Not necessarily. And I've even seen a few pins with cone shape prongs that were a little longer. It was the thickness of them that was a dead giveaway, and how the back looked. So the back, the imprint has to be pretty crisp with Disney, but some also can be faded over time or scratched down, or it can just be a little bit of a flawed pin. So my point is this. You know how you know if it's a real and fake pin? Trial and error is 1. 2, time and effort. Put in your time, your walking steps, and you'll start to know if a pin is real or not. 3 is if you buy pins from Disney. And 4, well, if you pin trade with a pin trader that is honest and doesn't carry around fake pins with them. Some of the pin traders are honest and do carry around fake pins with them because they like to trade fake for fake, just in case some person has a fake pin. They like to trade, give that person an option to trade with them. Now, I'll tell you why I don't do that. And it's not because I'm a pin snob. It's because the boards, if you look at them, you can see how many pins are fake on the boards. You can see how many pins we found today. Did we find anything that we really like to keep? We did not so far. We may here at the Riviera. So that's why I don't do it. I don't trade fake pins. I don't trade for fake pins. Now, we're going here to the Riviera, but there's going to be a bonus to this video because we're going to go to one more resort after this that is not on the Skyliner, and Then I'm going to conclude my little fake versus real, and maybe I'll have something else to tell you. So stay with me. We're in the venti room, and this is our first pin board here. Let's check it out and see if there's any real pins on this board. So here's the pin board at the venti room, and this pin board has 100% fake pins on the board. Let's head into La Boutique, the store here at the Riviera Resort, and let's check out their pin board. Here's the pin board at La Boutique, and there is nothing real on this pin board. Here are the cast members' pin pads, and I am going to do trivia.
Because it's almost Easter.
Okay.
Can you tell me 3 Disney rabbits?
Oh yeah.
Slash bunnies.
Yeah. Judy Hopps.
Mm-hmm.
Thumper.
Yeah?
And the White Rabbit.
Yes!
Yay!
Good job!
Let's see. They're all beautiful pins, and I have them except for the Peter Pan hat, so I'm going to take the hat. So let's see what's on the other side of the cast members' pin pad.
You ready?
Ready. There we are. Yay! Look at that. She has some great pins. I already did a trade, actually, so I left Ray, and I took little Dale with a fan.
Yeah!
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you!
These are the 4 pins we're coming home with today from the Skyliner Resorts. Now, wait a minute. I mentioned we were going to go to one more non-Skyliner resort. It is my favorite resort for pin trading, so I'll meet you there. And one last tip while we're there. I'm here at Coronado Springs, and Panchitos is one of the places where I like to stop on my way home and check out the pin board. So let's see what they have for us. So here's the pin board inside Panchitos, and it doesn't look like they refreshed their board because the pins are all fake on the board right at the moment. We're doing poorly today because the cast member's pin pad, well, there's nothing real on her pin pad today either. Wow, that was a bust today. Usually they do have great pins here. They try to keep up with the board. I mean, it's one of my favorite places to pin trade. Today, nothing. The reason is, well, they told me it's because it's the holiday weekend and there's a lot of guests staying here, and they're going to be staying here, well, for another week or two. So the pin thing is not their priority, is to sell the merchandise, right? So that's the reason. Okay, so let me finish this video and just say, well, the best way not to pick up a pin into fake pin is to just keep pin trading, and you are going to make mistakes. I make mistakes. I picked up a Figment pin because I thought it was real, this pin right here. What I didn't take note, because I didn't have, well, sometimes you need a magnifying glass. The prong, I didn't check the prong correctly, and I felt the point, but it wasn't cone shaped. It was a little bit more rounded but pointy. It was a beautiful pin, but it wasn't the original. So I did not put it back on the board. I disposed of the pin because I tell you that I don't trade fakes. And even though I picked it up, technically I could have put that pin right back on the board, but I didn't. I just disposed of it. I don't want to contribute to any more fakes being on the board out there. Now, it's all up to you guys what you want to do, but if you're trading for fakes, make sure you trade for fakes. If you're trading for real, trade for real. And happy pin trading, and I hope all this helped. If it did, give me a like, And I will see you in the next video real soon. Bye, everybody. Stay magical and happy pin trading.